It's enough, I think. It's enough, I think.
Happy Saturday, everyone. Welcome to the Green Live Stream. I'm your host, Edie Arndell, and I'm here with the hardest working man in Chicago.
No, that's show business.
Oh, okay. Mr. Scott Free, how's it going, Scott?
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
I think of these things as the music's playing, so who knows what's going to come out.
And who was that James Brown? I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. So I didn't want to steal it. Just want to do an homage.
Yeah. There we go.
But we have oh my gosh.
Oh, speaking of homage, if we put up the graphic for this week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I need to go look it up because the Uncle Sam I stole it from a film. It was called like Uncle Sam Wants You to Die or something. It had a rating in the bottom with our rating. I don't know. That's right.
You borrowed it.
I borrowed it. Homage to the film.
There you go. But you changed it. So cool. And then Trump riding the donkey.
I know.
Oh that is just
don't
beautiful.
Look too closely because my graphic skills are not the best. But you get the idea.
So we have Eglook in the. Hopefully, I'm still saying that right. In the chat already. Good morning from Alaska. Oh, you're from
Alaska.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So I watched the weather stations, and I just until something gets into your brain, you don't even think of it. The weather stations, the two big ones, Fox and Weather, whatever it's called, the Weather Channel, they never cover Alaska, like never, ever, ever, ever. And I never even thought of that. And then sure enough, the remnants of the hurricane comes in and destroys, the homes over there. And it was just it was horrible. And they were forced to cover it. They even had to try to explain why they didn't. It was really creepy. It's like, okay, you just explained why you didn't or haven't been covering Alaska. And then you go right back to not covering Alaska ever. It's weird. It's really weird.
Yeah.
And maybe, yeah, you're right. I mean, agree. Yeah. I don't get it. I don't understand.
I don't know. They figure it's up there. They don't have to worry about it. They don't cover Hawaii much either. So
well, but that's the thing. They do cover Hawaii more. And I wonder.
Well, that's right, because it's touristy.
Tourist, rich people. I don't know, But
anyway, but I want to say hey to Kalia. We were just chatting about you.
Hey,
How you are.
Yeah, hope things are going well.
Also wanted to announce that we are now at 621 subscribers. So thank you. Thank you for sharing and supporting us. Means a lot. The more subscribers, the more likes, subscribes, shares that you can do, the more our message gets out, the greater chance we have to change the state of Illinois, change the country, hopefully change the world. Piece of cake, right? We were talking about that on the. I don't know why we're so busy. We're just
all we need is one more subscription, and we change the world. I have a song I wrote called "It's a Fantasy That the Beatles Never Broke Up," and they got back together, had the biggest concert ever, and music changed the world. They ended starvation, so that's my silly Beatles song that I wrote. You can go look it up if you want, folks.
Yeah, Mr. Scott Free.
Well,
and a little more on the serious side, I think the reason John's not with us is because he was making a difference.
Yeah.
Anybody that's got sway, you get too good at it. That's why we need like thousands of people doing it.
That film is really good. I highly recommend it. I can't remember the title, but it was about how the FBI was following John Lennon. Can't remember the title of it.
Of course.
Good film. Oh, you got it. Of course.
So the reason for our title, Uncle Sam Wants You, apparently to die.
Yeah.
Well, I know, not funny.
Well, but pretty true.
Yeah. So this is from antiwar.com. The House and Senate both agree to make draft registration automatic. So, back in the 60s, you had to go sign up, right? And you get in trouble if you didn't. People protested by burning their draft card. And I was just talking to our Senate candidate.
It's up now.
Joe Harrington, that, he was drafted for Vietnam.
Oh, really?
And he said you had three choices. You either showed up when you were told to get there, you went to jail, or you left the country. So now they're planning on doing it automatically. So an amendment to the Military Selective Service Act to direct the Selective Service System, SSS, that's creepy, to try to register all potential draftees in the U.S. automatically has been included in the version of this year's military authorization bill, agreed to by House Senate conference meeting and likely to be enacted into law within the next few weeks. Now, I've been talking about this for a while. I knew this was sitting around.
Yeah, we knew that it was coming, and according to this article, they're pretty confident that it's going to pass, and I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, I was watching Bad Faith, and Matt Ho was on, and he was talking about how military recruitment is just incredibly down, and he says basically the only people that seem to be signing up they come from military families, so it's kind of it's in their blood. But yeah, it's they will do it too. And with the propaganda they put around these wars, I mean the Venezuela propaganda, you can see that people are going to believe this crap that they put out. And so but not enough people believe the crap, so they're going to force people. They are, definitely going to force people to.
Yeah, and they some people think it's never going to happen again. I have my doubts because Trump's liable to do anything. Egluck says he signed up, but he was late, so he wasn't hired for a job when I applied for it.
Oh, well. Yeah, I think, and I'm going to publicly apologize for making fun of people and calling it Trump derangement syndrome. Now, nobody can see into the future, but holy shit. I mean, this guy is just, it's scarier. Obviously, it's the worst time we've had in this country in my lifetime. And so something like this, absolutely. And again, as we always point out, look at all the politicians who also sign on to this stuff. That's our problem. That's our problem, is that, as we'll talk more in the show, the Democrats are right there with the evil Republicans. So, and, over and over again, when it comes to war funding, military, they are there.
And, tax cuts for wealthy people.
And yes.
Did you want to read any more of this? I mean, it's just the basicness of it. This is in our show notes if you want to check it out further. Yeah, and it hasn't happened yet, but I think it is correct to be forewarned, because I maybe before this Trump administration, I would have said, oh no, they're never going to do it. Now, I do think. Hard to say. Yeah. And I also wanted to point out that, they already have kind of an economic draft. They take away all the options for people getting out of high school. Right. I probably said this last week. Feels like I did. Yeah. Can't say it too much. They allow recruiters into high schools to snatch them before they start their life while they're still minors.
Yep.
They try to get their parents to do delayed entry, and just to get enough bodies to support the corporate war parties.
Yep.
And stealing of resources and overthrowing governments, and and because what are your options? College is out of reach. Jobs don't pay enough if you can even find one now.
Right. No, that's a really good point. When there's nothing out there, that's just becomes something you can do. I mean, it's just
to live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to try to live. But then you sign away everything over to the state. I mean, signing your life over to the state for however long.
Yeah.
Funny story. My husband, no longer with me, but he was in the Navy and he got in trouble for a sunburn.
What?
Because once you are a soldier, you belong to the government. Okay. You damage government property.
Oh!
And I'm like, oh, that's pretty strict.
Oh my God.
And one thing he used to always tell me that he goes, I've had big scary guys screaming right in my face. So coming back to civilian life, that's not spouses get mad at you, not a big deal.
Compared to,
he's like,
this ain't nothing.
This ain't nothing. You're not scary. I'll just go find another job if you don't,
Back when you could find jobs, folks.
Oh, back when you could. Although, a lot of companies in the town that I grew up in, the factories left.
Yeah.
You know, our government allowed them to pick up stakes and move and put all these people out of work to go get cheaper labor somewhere else in the world.
Right.
That happens to people all the time, and now it's just escalating.
Everywhere.
But we need to keep going, because all this stuff kind of builds on each other. So they're going to try to force you to be automatically registered. I'm sure under penalty of jail or something. So more soldiers for more war, so the rich get richer. And then the next part is, let's see.
I think it's a graphic. Yeah, there
you go. If you want to talk about that.
Yeah, as Trump drags us into an Iraq-style war in Venezuela, 312 members of the House, including 115 Democrats, just voted to authorize over $900 billion in military spending. So, I mean, think about that, folks. And this is posted by Stefan Semler on Twitter.
And it looks like he pulled it from C-SPAN. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the picture. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, $900 billion in military spending. And I think we cover it somewhere, because I remember reading it, getting ready for the show, that there is, I don't know how many, 20 billion for arms to Taiwan. I mean,
yeah, they're calling it like the porcupine offensive or something. I heard that somewhere.
Oh God, they give it a cute name now. I mean, it's sick, people. We got to stop this government. I mean, now they are trying to entice Taiwan to get into a conflict with China, which will be the exact thing they did for Ukraine to try to go at Russia. The exact same thing. People, please, please, please.
So that was the House.
This is all for it.
Oh, that was the House. This is the Senate. Guess who's on here?
Yeah,
Dick Durbin.
And that's another thing that happens, folks, is when somebody decides that they're going to retire as a Democrat. I mean, the exact equivalent happens on the Republican side. I'm not trying to be. But if somebody's going to retire in the Democrats, then they become the person that signs on to all the worst of the worst bills, because he was one of the 8 that allowed the Republicans to not negotiate for aiding in the Affordable Care Act subsidies. So that's how it works. They the ones that are not going to have to go up for re-election, they're the ones that always make the bad votes.
Oh, and look. Schumer.
Oh, Chuck Schumer. Yeah.
The leader.
Yeah.
Voted for more and more. I mean, it's almost $1 trillion now. And, you know, I don't want to hear anybody whining about our debt that's not willing to cut this.
Right. It's sick.
You know.
And again, what is this for? This is just for death and destruction. I mean, the only good thing they did was change the Department of Defense to the Department of War. They think they're being like macho or something, but it's just, that's the exact problem, folks. We're just killing people of color around the world. That's what we do. And that's where our tax money goes.
Oh, and check it out. Hang on. They highlighted some people, but look, Cory Booker.
Oh, God.
Tammy Duckworth.
Tammy's in here. I looked and I didn't see her.
Yep. She's down there.
Oh, my
Kirsten Gillibrand. John Fetterman, I assumed. Max Blumenthal. Some of the people that you think might not be bad.
Max
but they
Blumenthal.
Are.
Not bad.
Sheldon Whitehouse.
Okay, but Max Blumenthal. Oh, are you right? There is a person.
I mean, Max?
No. You're right. No, I think you're right. No, I think there might be somebody with the same name in Congress, because I think he made that joke before.
I'm thinking of
he said no relation. Yeah, he made the joke before. Right.
I'm thinking of the Gray Zone guy.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Okay, so
no, but it's just horrific, people. This is our problem. This is our problem right here. I mean,
yeah, they say stuff that sounds nice, but then they do this.
And I'm sorry, you know, a Democrat loves to say, like Bernie Sanders and all these folks, that they're for Medicare for all. And I'm not saying he didn't vote for this specific one. I don't have knowledge on that. But the reality is, you cannot afford Medicare for all if you're voting for this type of military budget. So stop pretending like you want Medicare for all, Democrats, because you don't. Because your priority is the military over Medicare for all. That is just absolutely the case. And to say, well, one Democrat likes it, one or two Democrats. Sorry, folks, the Democratic Party is a war party, and that's their priority.
Yeah, yeah. And they don't do a vote on anything unless they know how the votes are going to land.
Yeah, right.
So,
Yep.
I mean, 77 senators voted in favor because they're so afraid of being anti-war and against defending our country. Like,
Right.
they're not defending our country.
Right.
Actually, they're making us less safe by continuing this militarism. But here's the I love that you found this graphic too from Cognitive Dissident. I love that name.
Yeah, it's a good place. And then, but the tweet I got, well, is it a tweet? I don't know. Flockative.
Yeah. So reminder that the Reagan tax cuts, 1980 folks, were passed by Tip O'Neill's Democratic Congress.
Yeah, see, they're excellent point right there. The Reagan did that. Yeah. This
can't do it without help.
Right. Democrats were right there. They controlled the House when it happened. Right now, we live in a country most of us don't recognize. When the tax codes changed to accommodate the theory of wealthy create jobs, it trickled down to the rest of us. Since 1975, the 79 trillion in wealth has been redistributed from the bottom 90% to the top 1% in the United States. This is the problem. That's it exactly. If you go back and look at tax structures before that period, the rich, and I don't know what they qualified as rich, were like 80 to 90% tax rates.
Well, yeah, and and we had a progressive tax rate.
Right.
So it's not 80 to 90% of all of their wealth, all of what they made. It's like up to this point you pay this rate, and up to this point you pay this rate.
Oh, good point.
And if you're like making billions, of course, I mean, you used our infrastructure, to do that. It's not your road. It's not your water system. It's not your electric system.
Right.
If you're going to use it that much, you need to pay your fair share and pay the people back for what they gave you.
And it's a really good example of why everyone in this country, the bottom 90%, bottom 99%, are struggling beyond belief. I mean, beyond belief, because our tax system has now been every single time in the past administrations, a Republican administration does a massive tax cut for the wealthy. And when the Dems are in power, they don't rescind it. Yeah. They leave it.
They're not fighting. Neither party is fighting for you. I came up with this funny thing. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'll let our audience decide.
Yeah.
One party is the party of hate. The other one is party of weight.
Oh, nice. No, that's really good. I like it.
Yeah.
They are. No, that's perfect. Yeah, somebody was saying how now is not the time, Zohran Badawi, king of the Democrats. No. Now is not the time to challenge Hakeem Jeffries. No, it's just not the time.
Oh, can I see if he voted for the war budget? Let's see. Is he on here?
Oh God,
he's Senate. He's
he's Dems.
Say.
I mean, he's House.
He's House, so you can't tell.
But of course,
of course, if Schumer did, he did.
But that's a perfect slogan because it's so bizarre. How is now
party of hate or party of weight? Either way, we don't get anything.
How is it not the time? Could you explain that a little?
Yeah, the poverty rate's skyrocketing. People can't find a job. The homeless rate is skyrocketing. Prices are going up.
And if you remember, folks, the progressives in the House didn't challenge Hakeem Jeffries. They supported him. How, again, this label of the House progressives, and they'll continue to use it, even though it's a complete lie. That's part of the propaganda. Calling them the House progressives is propaganda.
I wanted to put this up too. What's up, Lewis? Good to see you. You would think Duckworth lost her legs to a war that shouldn't have happened. Yeah. She has overwhelmingly voted for defense spending.
That you're making a really good point about how on Bad Faith's podcast, Brianna was bringing up this issue of Democrats, how now the left and the Democrats, I don't want to say celebrate military involvement, but they use that as a tool. So basically, you're making a great point. It's incredible to me that somebody who is suffering like her, losing her ability to walk, would then turn around and use that to get into power and now do pro-war and pro. It's that's why I keep coming back to our politicians are psychopaths. They truly are. I mean, I know it's a harsh thing to say, but these folks really are. You should watch. I would highly recommend. My friend is on there, but I would highly recommend watching The Bad Faith, because Matt Ho makes some really, really good points. Matt Ho ran for Senate in which state in the Green Party?
North Carolina, I think.
North Carolina. And he is ex-military. And yet he gives it a really good perspective. And how he is, and actually they were making a comparison to him to Plattner, the guy that's now the Democrat that is running, and it really shows the difference between Matt Ho and Plattner. I don't remember his first name. Graham Plattner.
Don't ask me how I know. I just do.
Because they've been pushing it down our throats.
He's Maine, right? I think he's in Maine. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
It really, again, folks, it points to character, because both of these ex-military people have had these awakenings, supposedly with Graham, supposed awakening. Matt obviously really did, but Matt runs in the Green Party. Graham runs in the Democratic Party, the genocidal Democratic Party. So that should be enough to tell you. If he gets into office, he'll be on this list of signing for the, $900 billion military budget, because
just like Tammy did.
Right. Just putting a D by your name means I am a sellout. That's what it means.
Yep. Not as a voter. Just want to make that clear, because voters can change their mind. I just want to make sure people know we're not picking on the voters. You can choose differently anytime.
Right.
We're talking about the people that run inside the party. Yeah. People at the bottom think they can change it. We've been trying this for almost, 50, 60, 70 years. Not working. They gave us Trump 2 times. And now look where we are. And, at the top, it doesn't matter how many of you are in there. They're going to tell you to sit down, shut up, or they're going to kick you out.
Yeah.
The next article I just wanted to give you a heads up is about the Epstein. But I did want to say, functionally, Team Red and Team Blue, they work in lockstep.
Right.
They always vote for tax cuts for the billionaires. They always vote to fund more war and military expansion around the world. And they never seem to find the time to even bring to the floor for the American people, Medicare for all, universal health care system, which will save everyone money and cover everyone. But, they can't do that because, they owe their careers to the lobbyists, the healthcare industry, the big pharma, the military industrial complex. So that we can't get healthcare, housing, and a living wage because they are bought. So, and
and I want to reiterate that when you hear commentators and all those kind of folks saying AOC and Bernie Sanders support Medicare for all, not true. That's not true. Their actions show that it's not true. In power, under Biden, they shut up. They didn't say a thing about it. Now they're back to saying, I'm sorry about the sirens. Are they bad? It's an emergency, folks. We're going to run out of saying that joke on this show because I live on a road in Sheridan where all the fire trucks come down. So this is constant for me. So sorry about that.
Yeah. Edward says the two parties give the U.S. the appearance of not having a one-party system.
Right. I mean, I will give them credit for theater. I don't know if they had theater backgrounds, but they certainly, they do the theater. They do the,
they keep hiring actors.
Oh, okay. Oh, good point. You're right. Yep. No, good point. Yeah, it's all theater. They're all friends. Their kids go to the same schools. They're all friends. It's not. They don't hate each other. It's all theater, folks. I wish people would just wake up to that theater.
Yep. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the release of the Epstein files. So share post, which I love, and if you of course we want you to donate to us, but if you have a chance, maybe throw them a couple of bucks, you can write it off your taxes for them. So it's an absolute joke. Trump DOJ partially releases Epstein files.
I have it in there if you want.
Many heavily redacted. Oh, I was reading it. Hang on. There we go. There you go.
Okay.
So, and I saw a picture of Noam Chomsky on a plane.
Oh yeah.
Looking at something with Jeffrey Epstein. They were talking across the aisle. So obviously, nobody around them. So it's his private plane.
David.
And I'm like, what?
I think David Brooks, who's a New York Times reporter, was saying, "Oh, this is such a waste of time. Oh, why are we doing it?" He's in there. Oops.
It's not. We're not doing guilt by association. Maybe he did nothing wrong.
Yeah, we don't. But it's still.
I'm not saying that, but still, it does not look. It's not a good look to be hanging out with that guy. Maybe I don't know. Can't say. Just saw the picture, but this article is by Brett Wilkins from Common Dreams. The U.S. Department of Justice on Friday and on Friday, by the way, which is how they bury things. I don't know if y'all know that.
Yeah.
Right before Christmas too. What are we doing right before Christmas or the holidays? We're out shopping, right? Hopefully at your local places, not the big box. The U.S. Department of Justice on Friday released a massive but incomplete trove containing hundreds of thousands of records related to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, a move that came as Democratic lawmakers vowed to pursue all legal options after the Trump administration blew a deadline to disclose all the files. The DOJ uploaded the files, which can be viewed here.
That was a picture I wanted to share of what they look like.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading. I'm not looking at what you're doing.
Yeah, I do. I just have it there. That's what it actually looks like. And so I might as well say the joke that somebody posted on Twitter. It's a bad joke, but come on. So the person's Twitter name is Feral Streep. Okay, that's actually better than the joke. And it's their comment was, "These documents are more blacked out than Pete Hegseth on New Year's Eve." So that it has the style of old jokes, right? Like a 70s insult jokes. So.
Oh man, what is the show I'm thinking? Oh, the Bill Murray show. For Christmas. What
I was going to say Don. Who was the comedian that would
Don Knotts?
No, he would.
Don Rickles.
Don Rickles. Yep.
There we go.
Yep.
Anyway, I'll think of it later. Yep. It's a Christmas show, where he grows a heart and all that.
Oh.
If you're gonna be, where are you gonna be? I'm gonna walk on the other side of the street, but I'm pum.
Nice.
Anyway, so Friday's release includes declassified files, many of them heavily redacted, as we just showed you, and some of which were already publicly available via court filings, record requests, and media reporting. Files include flight logs and masseuse list. One document contains nothing but 100 fully redacted pages. What's the point? Yeah. Oh yeah, I see the picture now. While not accused of any wrongdoing, Trump was a former close friend of Epstein who faced federal sex trafficking charges at the time of his suspicious 2019 death in the New York City jail cell.
And I don't follow this very much. I really don't. But I would like to know actually if someone in the comments wants to put it in, because I'm assuming that all of this activity with the flights and going to Epstein Island and all that happens after he was convicted in Florida, because I think he was convicted in Florida in the 90s of sex with minors. Pedophile charge. So he is a convicted pedophile. I'm pretty confident as all this stuff is going on, he's already been convicted as a pedophile, and these folks are just happy to hang out with him. It really does just point to our incredibly corrupt elite world that exists. It's just it's depraved.
Yeah, and we reported on that a while back. This woman either wrote a book or something, just talking about the was it Gallant from Israel? One of the guys in Israel.
Maybe. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Just got off on hurting her and choking her and knocking her. To where she passed out.
Oh God, I hadn't heard
and Trump was reported by this woman that was attacked by him when she's like 13. just insulting her and, just, I mean,
Yeah, right.
she's a child.
She went
And
to court. I think it happened when she was 13. And I think she was telling a story that either Epstein got mad at Trump or Trump got mad at Epstein for taking her virginity when he
Epstein got
wanted
mad at
to.
Trump.
When he wanted to. So yeah. And then, again,
It's just arrogance. It's, he thinks this group of people thinks they're better than everyone, and there no rules or laws apply to them, and they can do whatever they want to whoever they want, and it's sick. Yep. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
It's and it's a crime. Sorry, it's a crime. Sorry, not sorry. So, the Democrats are complaining about, the Epstein files, release them. But, they do a little bit of that too. Not on the same level. Not saying it is.
But it's still funny. It's like, oh, gee, you're not going to release your report on what went wrong. As, Kamala Harris doing a tour hinting that she's going to rerun. And
so they protect each other. They protect themselves and they protect each other. Trump is using the Epstein files as a cudgel to beat Democrats because the names in there are all Democrats, right? And he's not going to implicate anybody that would help him, politically. And the reason the Democrats are not releasing this because they know it will ruin their chances should you really find out what they were saying behind the scenes.
Because it has to be Gaza. I mean, that there was polling on that said Gaza was the number one reason. And they certainly don't want to admit to that one.
No.
Because they're going to continue. They're going to continue it. That's... Yeah.
Yep.
And they did it for 15 months, folks. That's proof that they will continue it. They did it for 15 months.
Yeah, and when you stop having heroes, when you stop idolizing these people, you can analyze it better. You're like, oh well, why wouldn't you stop sending bombs to Israel? And you got to look at them with clear-eyed vision.
Right.
And start thinking about, well, what does that mean then?
And look at the propaganda that props these people up. I mean, again, I always bring up Elizabeth Warren just because she's the one that people think is that they look up to her as some kind of leader. She voted to starve and bomb Palestinians in a single bill, as did every single Democrat in the Senate. Every single Democrat. So these people should not be looked up to because they are horrific people. And the press, I get angry at them for supporting them. I mean, again, that's
mainstream.
Part of the system. Yeah, even some more independents will support these people. That was one of my issues with the show is, I didn't watch the whole Bad Faith, but it's just, discussing the details around a Democratic candidate. Folks.
Yeah, we gotta disabuse ourselves of that notion that they're ever gonna do anything for the people.
And they did. I will give them credit. They brought up Fetterman because what a perfect example. He was the hero of the left. They went crazy for Fetterman, and look how he turned out. I mean, these people stop falling for this crap over and over again. And I'm glad that the Lucy meme comes out of her pulling the football away because they're using that one a lot with Charlie Brown, and it's
nice.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we talked about that last week. I'm like, that's how I feel. It's like,
yep,
Medicare for all. Sorry.
Yep.
Living wage. Oh, sorry. But I want to, while you get the next thing ready, I wanted to put up Lewis Gordon's comment here.
Yeah.
We USA just allowed an Israeli intelligence agent leave America after being busted in a child trafficking case in Las Vegas.
Yep.
Yeah,
that is true.
Here, but just thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And they know that they don't have to worry about prosecution. That's why they do these sick things, because they know they're going to get protected.
Yep. And talking about the Democrats being warmongers, Biden took more money from the Israel lobby in the U.S. and more money in the Israel lobby in the U.S. Senate history, and he lost the Dems election on the Gaza issue.
Yep.
Because they can't they take the money and then they're not allowed to go against it.
Yep.
I mean, that's what your money here donating to us will buy you an ear to listen to the public. What do you think we should do about A, B, or C? The whole idea of representative government of a republic is that you have people in office that bring your will into the government, not taking this big money bullshit. But Fetterman's race was one to the bottom.
Yeah.
Considering he was running against Dr. Oz. Oh my God.
Well, again, I mean, it also
I didn't know that.
It also points to the issue of why it's really important to support the Green Party in all the states, because we need to have candidates there. And as we've talked about on this show, Illinois has a harder time than other states. We have a really, really difficult time. But some states, each state has its own ballot access issue. But to support them means that there would be a third candidate there to go up against these two. Because a lot of times we don't make it to that level. And that's what we need. We need to always be there. There needs to always be a Green Party candidate challenging this system.
Yeah, and if you're not on the ballot, you're basically invisible.
Yeah.
If I don't know if any write-ins have hardly ever been elected unless it's super hyper local, wasn't a big competition.
No, there's been two, but they were actually, and one was in Alaska, so you could help me get the details. Murkowski, I think Lisa Murkowski ran in a write-in because something happened. I don't know the details, but she was already so famous. She was already so famous that she did win that.
Yeah,
but
yeah, you put it in there.
Okay.
Yay, we remembered. So, and before we talk about this next clip, I'll go ahead and bring it up, but don't start it yet. So, here in Illinois, one of my major concerns is that our state and local governments aren't holding ICE accountable for their actions. And this guy's from Chicago, but this happened in Michigan.
No, he's just being held. Well, yes, he was being held in Michigan.
Right. Yeah, but he's from Chicago.
Right. And you're right. I mean, we talked about Broadview being expanded. Where is Pritzker?
Yeah, that's coming up in a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah. But just, I was watching the news when ICE came back to Chicago area 2 days ago, and he's at a press conference. Well, we don't know how long that they're going to be here. They haven't told us. I mean, why are you not saying, and if we see anyone being kidnapped, we will arrest those people? I mean, why not? Why are you allowing people who wear brown and wear a brown mask to kidnap people?
And
they took the license plate numbers off the cars. That's illegal too. How are you, Secretary of State? How are you not calling for the arrest?
And they're attacking people in their cars for doing nothing but driving down the street
and dragging them out. You should be arresting these people on site. There's plenty of people there. They all got phones filming it. You can't be there arresting these kidnappers.
The state police are already there.
Yeah.
All they got to do is stop worrying about the protesters, which are peaceful and exercising their, constitutional right.
I mean,
to address the grievances of the government. This is wrong. We're here because we're saying it's wrong. Turn around and start watching the ICE people.
Well, and again, we don't. Who are these people? They wear brown outfits and they kidnap. So if anybody in a brown outfit kidnapping, you better arrest them and find out what's going on.
Yeah, and last week we had that woman on that she had just got out of surgery. She just dropped her kid off from school. She was going to work and they hit her car. They ran into her on purpose.
Right.
And then when people were always going around filming them. So then they I think they did it because they didn't want to look like they did something illegal and took off. So then they acted like they were trying to stop her, I think. Because they did a U is the way I understood it. So then they dragged her out of her car and threw her to the ground. And she just had kidney surgery.
Yeah. U.S. citizen too.
U.S. citizen.
Yep. So that's a
sometimes
crime.
the people who end up being ICE agents are police officers who were fired.
Right.
Anyway, but go ahead and play this because this is
all right. Is it ready?
Yeah.
The details surrounding the death of 56-year-old Nenko Genchev, originally from Bulgaria, remain murky. His family telling the I-Team that federal officials have not answered their questions about what happened to him. And for days, they couldn't even locate his body. Now they have serious concerns about the medical care he received prior to his death, and for hundreds more detained at this ICE facility. This letter from Immigration and Customs Enforcement to Nenko Genchev's wife is the only communication she's received from federal officials since Genchev died Monday at the North Lake Correctional Facility, a private prison in Baldwin, Michigan. That facility is contracted by ICE to hold undocumented migrants.
They believed he collapsed and that it may have been a heart attack, and that was it.
Anna is a family spokesperson who asked the I-Team not to use her last name or Genchev's wife's name out of fears for their safety. Although Genchev's wife is a U.S. citizen, she too is fearful of reprisal. The day she was notified of her husband's death was the couple's 8-year wedding anniversary.
It's enough to know that your husband died in custody. It's enough to know that it was an awful place to die. She's so beyond upset.
Geo Group, the private prison company that owns and operates the North Lake Correctional Facility, referred all questions surrounding Genchev's death to ICE officials. After multiple inquiries from the ABC7 I-Team, ICE published this statement online saying Genchev's death is, quote, suspected to be from natural causes, but, quote, the official cause of death is still under investigation. Going on to say, according to initial reports, Genchev was discovered unresponsive on the floor of his cell during routine checks. Facility medical staff responded, began CPR, and contacted local emergency medical services. A Michigan medical examiner's office said no cause or manner of death has been certified yet.
A wonderful human being. If you needed something, he would be there for you no matter what.
Genchev's wife and close friends tell the I-Team he first moved to Chicago 30 years ago on a student visa and owned a trucking company for more than a decade. Genchev was taken into custody by federal immigration agents in September at a scheduled green card interview.
It's the last time she ever saw him alive.
His wife and friends say Genchev suffered from type 2 diabetes and told his wife no accommodations were made for his condition in custody.
The stress alone can create those blood sugar spikes, and he was not feeling well progressively.
Genchev was also one of hundreds of people a federal judge in Chicago ordered released on bond last month, as his warrantless arrest may have violated an existing consent decree. But that order was blocked by an appeals court, keeping Genchev locked up.
Beyond confusing to get any information.
Now, in a statement, ICE labeled Genchev a criminal, but court records reviewed by the I-Team show previous arrests by Chicago police. Despite those arrests, Genchev was never charged with any serious crimes, only traffic violations. U.S. Representative Delia Ramirez of Chicago has called for a, quote, immediate and independent investigation into Mr. Genchev's death, saying there have been numerous complaints of inhumane conditions and inadequate medical care at North Lake. The Department of Homeland Security has called all allegations of poor treatment false.
Yeah.
Well, and note that he was going to his scheduled green card appointment.
Yep. Exactly. Following the U.S. laws.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I hadn't watched the whole thing, but as it was going, I was thinking, well, what if he has high blood pressure? Because I can guarantee that in this situation that they have created, you know, at least our regular prison system has a system set up. So if somebody is arrested, put in jail, there is a system by which they can get their medications. Not in this.
It's not a great system. But
I know it's not
great. There is a system.
There is a system, right?
And solitary confinement.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I'm basically used as torture cells, but
I'm not trying to, you know, say good thing.
At least it's like this much better.
Right. And so with no system, of course, they're not getting meds. Of course, you know, people, you think Broadview people are getting meds? And
they've said that they're not.
Right. And any individual with high blood pressure, his case was diabetes. Any person with high blood pressure has to take a daily medication to stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
So
and diabetics too. It spikes your blood sugar, stresses your system.
Yeah.
But I, you know, while that was going on, I'm like, oh, Geo Group. I meant to look that up earlier, so I posted it in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you go to opensecrets.com, candidates, congressional candidates, doesn't give you the exact number of people, but Republicans took $424,140 from Geo Group. Democrats only took $37,620. Incumbents took 356,171, which was 77%, and non-incumbents 105,000. Oh, here you go. House recipients: 18 Democrats, 56 Republicans.
Yeah. And again, there's so many layers of problems that just pile on top of each other until we have this horrific situation. Private prisons. How did we allow private prisons to become a thing in the United States? I mean, it's just the most horrific idea. Capitalism meets prisons. Like, you're going to have a system where you're making money off having prisoners. Oh, that's a great idea, folks. Great idea. Yeah, crap. Our shareholders are getting mad at us. We're not making enough profits. Get more people.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because they only make, and we're paying them to do that. Is my understanding. The government is paying them to house these people, so they have an incentive to fill the beds.
Yeah, it's just
not an incentive to do justice by these people.
Oh God, no.
But yeah, check out that Open Secrets. It's pretty illuminating. The number one contributor is Make America Great Again PAC.
Oh, yeah, great. It's just what a horrible situation.
Or contributee, should I say? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, just keeps getting worse, right? So do you have this next clip? Trump moves to massively expand ICE prisons, concentration camp. I think this is status quo, by the way. It's 030 to 504. It's pretty good. This is I can think of John Sokowski.
Yeah, he's good. I like him. I think I'm ready. If you want.
Okay, I'll bring it up. Here we go.
Okay. Of expanding an ICE prison in a Chicago suburb, Broadview, Illinois, came up at a zoning board of appeals meeting just last night, and the activists who came there to rail against any planned expansion of an ICE detention facility in the Chicagoland area were pissed, and they let local leaders know that they want to see them standing up and fighting back against the administration.
With no more.
Throw it as hard as you want.
Crap.
Go on.
I'm so sorry.
Watching it.
You can't really get past that. The guy's hard to understand anyway. So.
Or no due process, random black brown people are swept off the streets, disappeared into a vast expanding network of ICE jails, most of which are private for-profit, is in fact impossible for the Trump fascist meth deportation project to continue if there weren't a network of privately run private detention centers like the one that's being proposed here now. City of Broadview, when are you going to talk about that? ICE has been asking you about building this detention center. When were you going to tell the people that they're building a detention center?
So this again leads to the question, why now? If a judge is saying that the current facility cannot be used for the numbers that it was being used for, then why are you opening the option to have another prison or detention center? The language that you're proposing now is going to allow Trump and his administration the leeway to seek a prison, a detention center, or worse, a concentration camp.
And that was not the only voices that we heard from that night. I was live there covering that zoning board of appeals meeting, and activist after activist after activist stood up to deliver very similar messages to the zoning board of appeals, calling on them to, one, be more forthright about what the Department of Homeland Security's plans are for the Chicagoland area, and also calling on them to stop the Trump administration from expanding its prison system in that area. It has long been reported that the Trump administration is looking to expand its prison system in Broadview, Illinois. And let's give you a sense of scale as to what this expansion could look like. So this here, highlighted in blue, is the current ICE detention facility, a black site, a prison that exists in Plainview in Broadview, Illinois. It is a small brick building with an adjoining parking lot. This has been the center for protests for months now. as the Trump administration really ground its heel into Chicago with disappearing people off of the streets, separating families, breaking apart communities. This was the center for a lot of those operations. This is where a lot of those people who were disappeared off the streets were taken at first before they were shipped to prisons elsewhere in the country. But when Secretary Kristi Noem, who leads the Department of Homeland Security, came to visit this site in October, she also went on a little bit of a propaganda tour that included shooting a video of her touring a factory that is right across the street as a place to potentially expand this prison. And let's show you that facility here. I have to zoom out because it is so much larger.
Oh my God.
This is the site highlighted in yellow. And comparing it to this blue site, you can just see how many of these currently existing ICE prison, how many of those could fit inside of this yellow boxed in area, this former industrial site that is now just a vacant building. And it's long been reported that the Department of Homeland Security is interested in this building. So the fact that the zoning board was taking up this consideration about changing some of its zoning laws as relates to detention centers and prisons seems remarkably well timed. It's too much of a coincidence to not be something that the village appears to be bracing for the Department of Homeland Security to be trying to expand its prison into this site. And when you look at this site, you can just think about how many people, if just during the few months of Operation Midway Blitz in Chicago, that the Trump administration was supposedly able to apprehend thousands of people, many of them flowing through that facility marked in blue, hundreds being held, stuffed like sardines inside of that facility. How much pain and suffering could be inflicted if they had the space to operate inside of that yellow facility? Let that sink in. Think about that for a moment. The scale of the suffering. Now, some of the zoning changes that the village of Broadview was proposing included restrictions on where and how these ICE detention facilities could be built. They could not be within a prison, could not be built within 1,000 feet of another prison. Well, because this site is directly across the street from the existing ICE detention facility, that likely rules it out in that respect. Well, the federal government...
I went a little too
Yeah.
far.
Oh, you went too far. Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, look at that thing. It's like more than 10 times larger than what they have now. And they've already processed thousands of people. So what, are we going to be in the hundreds of thousands of people?
I know. Right. No, this, yeah, I know. I had watched the whole thing. I had watched it where he's zoomed out to see the size of it. Oh my God. Holy
the city of Broadview did vote it down. It was my understanding, because I watched the entire clip.
Okay.
And I guess it goes to the state now. What's Pritzker gonna do? And there's a chance, if we say no, federal's gonna try to sue us to get what they want, because that's what they do. I mean, they're like big kids throwing a tantrum, but the costs are much greater. Like kids, you can pick them up, go to bed. No,
No, it's a horrible situation. Absolutely.
It
horrible.
is.
I mean, a concentration camp that huge right in Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And actually, I had just learned recently from Jim Madigan, Green Party member, that there have been protests there for years and years and years, because it was a thing that they would do. It was the religious leaders who would it was a small protest, but they would be out there every week because the facility did not allow for members of the clergy, or whatever the terminology, I'm not good with that stuff, to come in and provide counseling and religious counseling to.
Oh, I remember that guy that was like attacked by ICE like about a month ago.
Right.
Speaking out, he's like, it's my moral duty to be there.
Yeah.
But
they've been there for years.
Yeah.
So
our next thing is from Demand Justice.
Okay.
So so here's, we keep going back to this. Democrats say a lot of things, but what you can't judge people by their words. You have to judge them by their actions, and they are supposed to be working for us. So this is on Demand Justice. No crony judges. Demand Democrats stop giving lifetime appointments to Trump loyalist judges.
Yeah. Horrible.
Lifetime appointments. Here you go. I'll put it up so you can, if you want to read a little, or however you want to do it.
Yeah. It's a new campaign to draw a bright line for Democrats. Any senator who claims to defend democracy must vote no on Trump's dishonest judicial appointments. Trump has turned judicial nomination into personal loyalty tests. A Demand New Justice report uncovers a shocking pattern. Every single one of Trump's 2025 judicial nominees, when asked, has refused to tell about the 2020 election and the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Oh, we don't have we didn't have I thought it included the graphic that showed.
That's the one that I lost.
Yeah, but I mean, just an unbelievable amount of appointees are being approved by the Democrats. Like a huge amount.
Yep. And they can do it. I think they can probably do it without you. So why do you need to do it? Did you want to keep reading or no?
No. That's
okay.
That's fine. Yeah. No, it just points to, and I'm glad that this organization is out there trying to bring this to light, because this is the kind of stuff that just gets passed unnoticed. People aren't, judge appointments. Oh, come on. Who's going to pay attention to that
boring,
level?
Right.
Right.
But
and so that's the point. That's the point. Folks, Democrats and Republicans work together.
Yeah.
So
I was just going to say, think about, what's happening with ICE. We need judges that are going to hold them accountable, because that's what Democrats keep saying. Oh, well, we'll just take him to court. Well, meanwhile, I think that's too little too late. Eventually, yes, but you need to do something in the moment.
Right.
If somebody's breaking the law on camera, you need to go find them and arrest them.
Right.
But, if Trump is getting all these judges, those cases will probably get thrown out because he's the one doing it. I'm like, how is this different than, Israel minding Gaza so much? Like, you can't put the people doing the bad thing in control of the thing that they're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it just perpetuates it. But so moving on to that, I guess.
And that plays into our title of Dems Love Trump. I mean, they certainly love him because that's going to help them, get back in, because I mean, his actions are beyond belief. I've never seen anything this bad. But behind closed doors, or wherever people are not paying attention, the Dems are supporting. And like you said before, the Democrats had plenty of time to rescind ICE funding. They didn't. They increased.
Oh yeah.
ICE
has been around since 2003.
Yeah.
Homeland Security. I remember when George W. Bush started that agency.
Right.
Like, I had a shiver down my spine, man.
And I remember during the first Trump term when they, some Democrats were saying, abolish ICE, abolish ICE. Then they get into office.
And they vote to fund it extra.
Fund it more.
So one of the scariest things is our next. So this ties into what's going on with ICE and the Trump administration and Democratic complicity, or help behind the scenes. I did want to mention one other thing, that I'm talking about the Trump moves to denaturalize.
Okay. Thank you.
But it also, one thing that they also do that I've noticed, if you kind of see what they do and compare it to what they say, they use what Trump is doing to rail against. But when it comes down to what they actually get done, they always agree. I mean, enough of them agree to make it pass.
Right.
So they put people out front that will say, this is wrong and we're going to sue, and that's undemocratic, but at the end of the day they don't stop it. So anyway,
it's
if they wanted to, they would.
And devil's in the detail, literal devil in the details. I mean, I just reminded me of when Bernie Sanders was against the railroad strike, or them blocking the railroad strike, so he voted against it. Wow, great. Progressive socialist Bernie Sanders votes against having Biden block the railroad strike, which Biden did. Well, guess what, folks? What he did is vote to speed track it, or whatever it's called.
Fast track
it, to bring it up for a vote immediately. He could have blocked that because I think the strike was about to start. And he could have blocked that, but no, he didn't. He voted to get it in there quick. So please stop falling for these people. I keep saying it over and over.
So I'll bring this up. So this is Democracy Now.
Okay.
And, you know, so this is from Trump moves to denaturalize citizens, end birthright citizenship, halt visa lottery. So it starts at 151.
Okay.
Looks like you got it ready to go. 151 to 239. So I did like 3 separate clips.
Okay.
The United States has 2 kinds of citizens: those who are born in this country, who are automatically citizens by birth. That's what we call birthright citizenship. And naturalized citizens, those people who are immigrants who can apply to become a citizen after they've been here for 5 years, take a test on civics, have no criminal record, etc. The Constitution treats both kinds of citizens equally. Birthright citizens and naturalized citizens are treated the same under the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. And we have naturalized close to 10 million people in the last 10 years. So there's a large number of foreign-born Americans who are citizens of this country.
Okay.
Yep.
439.
And, you know, that's what our Statue of Liberty says. You know, if you come here legally, you follow the rules, why shouldn't you be able to become a citizen?
And I don't have numbers, but you just keep hearing it over and over and over again that they are grabbing people who are going for their green card appointment and for their last one to be right before they become citizens. So all these folks are following the rules. They're following the rules.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yes,
right.
it's not about illegal.
No.
It's about, I don't want you here.
It has to go before a judge. So it's a long process. Every individual case has to be tried. And let me say, Amy, the grounds to denaturalize a citizen are very, very narrow indeed. You have to show that the citizen lied on their application in a way that was meaningful to the outcome. So, for example, we mostly know about people who are war criminals who hid their past, people who were members of the Nazi Party during World War II. Those are the most famous cases. So you have to have misrepresented yourself and hidden or committed fraud on your application about something that would have been consequential. Now, in June, the Trump administration expanded the list of reasons why they could revoke somebody's naturalization. These include association with gangs or cartels, people who have been involved in human trafficking, people who have committed financial fraud against the government or private individuals or entities. That's an interesting one. And so they have expanded the grounds considerably. And speaking of Mandani.
Oh, you had me cut right before Mandani. Do you want me to play this or not?
Well, yeah, it's okay. Go ahead. I mean, it does make a good point. I get tired of talking about him.
Yeah. No. We'll skip. We'll go to 844.
Well, it's just that he's a target to be denaturalized. He wasn't born here.
Okay.
Yeah, and she also was talking about that, you know, he wants to have like 200 cases per month or something brought forward. He's like demanding it. Wow. There's only been, on average, there's only like 25 cases a year.
Oh my God.
So he's doing the same thing. He just wants to get rid of people that aren't white.
And, you know, that brings up a really good point then. Okay, folks, he's in there for another 3 years. If the Democrats don't actually take action and just complain, this is going to continue and continue and continue.
Yeah. And how many people will be, you know, kicked out of our country? And personally, I love the diversity. You know, you learn so much from other cultures. I mean, people around the world are amazing, you know, and the best way to you know, what do they say? The best cure for racism is travel and getting to know people from other countries. Well, they just want to remove that option for all of us here, so we can just be boxed up.
It's just pure racism. It's just pure racism. It's that tacky racism where, you know, I don't want to be around those people. I mean, it's pathetic. It's gross.
Super judgmental. Anyway.
All right. Let me do the last clip.
Chat.
We can now promptly file to proceed with numerous policies that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis. And some of the cases we're talking about would be ending birthright citizenship, which now comes to the fore. That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation. This was, in fact, it was the same date, the exact same date, the end of the Civil War. It was meant for the babies of slaves, and it's so clean and so obvious. But this lets us go there and finally win that case, because hundreds of thousands of people are pouring into our country under birthright citizenship, and it wasn't meant for that reason.
So talk about what it's meant for, Professor Nye.
Well, it was originally meant for the babies of the former slaves. That is true. But it was upheld by the Supreme Court in 1898 in a Chinese case called Marc. And the court said that it applied to the children of immigrants as well, including Chinese immigrants, which the court had no great love for. And at that time, the court said, if we eliminate birthright citizenship for the Chinese, the citizenship of all the children of all the Europeans who've come here would be in jeopardy. So the court knew that this was a far-reaching provision of the Constitution, and it upheld it. And it's been upheld, ever since.
I wanted to go what happened just last night.
Okay, sorry.
The Trump administration.
Okay.
Well, and removing the lottery and all that. So they're blaming that one guy that shot up Brown. So they're trying to saying,
Right.
oh, that's why we shouldn't do the Visa lottery.
And, it's a racist idea, but
Mhm.
again, it's going to, if you get rid of birthright citizenship, so a family that's been here 20 years, of, parents have been here, grandparents have been here, European, and they have a child. So that child is not a citizen of the U.S. It's like,
Well, they won't apply it equally.
of course not, but it just
Because would
create
Melania
chaos.
would Melania get kicked out? No.
Right, it's going to create chaos. I mean, that's what it'll do. Because then, how are you going to make each person born in the country? You have to make some analysis of how long a person's been here before, and if
And that that's why they wanted us to get the real ID. I mean, in my opinion, not saying it is, but I was like, real ID? You don't know who I am by now?
I know
tracing back your name all the way to the time you were born. I mean, for women, that's hard, especially in my generation. If you've been married, or people that have been adopted, or whatever, that's a lot of paperwork to go through.
I saw that. I haven't gotten one, and it just seems like, right, we already have driver's license. There's something really, really bad is associated with it. So I haven't gotten one yet. And then I noticed that TSA said that you can, for a $45 charge, you could have bypass for like a month or something when you take a flight. So it's like, okay, I'll save up my money and spend $45.
Well, I just refuse to fly anymore.
Yeah, right. No, good point.
They're too intrusive on your rights. I'm just not gonna
I'm gonna try to avoid taking a plane for as long as I possibly can. I haven't taken one in years.
Yeah. What is our the Marc Lamont Hill thing.
Okay.
So this is Chris Smalls, if y'all remember him. Two really big things about him. He was in Amazon during COVID. They weren't keeping their people safe. So he protested, got fired. So he started a union. So he was famous for that. And then, when he started speaking out about Gaza, the people that supported him for unionizing Amazon kind of disappeared. And he was on the Hamdallah flotilla to try to break the siege in Gaza. And he was the only one that was beaten.
Right.
Because he was a person of color.
Yep.
So racism. I mean, he's a great guy. I hope to meet him someday.
Just let me know when to start it.
Oh, hang on. You got it up? Okay. Okay, go ahead.
What's the connection there? How did labor organizing lead you to become an advocate for Palestine?
Yeah, as a trade unionist, it is our responsibility to be a shield to the working class. I understood that when I was fighting for Amazon workers, understanding that connecting the struggles, connecting the dots with the working class doesn't exclude the liberation of Palestinians. one of the models that I stand by is a model that's well known in the labor movement. An injury to one is an injury to all. And understanding that Amazon has a lot to do with this genocide was one of the reasons why I wanted to heavily get involved. They invested $7.2 billion into a project called Project Nimbus, which is the intelligence that's being used to target and surveil innocent Palestinians every day. And for me, organizing against Amazon, connecting the dots by getting on the previous mission, the flotilla, was something that I want to do to shine a bright light on labor and also spread awareness to our community. Let us know that our taxpaying dollars are going towards this endless genocide that needs to be stopped.
So you talk about Amazon's direct investments in Palestinian suffering, but then there's also a kind of bigger, maybe more abstract argument, which is that Palestinian liberation and working class liberation are somehow tied together. I've heard you speak to that a little bit. Can you say more about what that means?
Yeah, I had the privilege of doing a panel discussion with Dr. Mustafa Bourgadi, and he laid out the
very
history.
prominent Palestinian
Absolutely.
voice. Yeah.
And he laid out the history of the resistance movement, and he also invited me to go to Palestine. This was before October 7th. But then the week of October 7th, I happened to be in Berlin, Germany, which is one of the largest Palestinian diasporas outside of Palestine, with about 30 to 40,000 of them that reside there. And I've seen with my own two eyes, along with my comrades out there, how they kettled in the community. They tore down flags, they suppressed the speech. They were basically telling us that we couldn't even say the word Free Palestine. I saw how they pulled their children away from their parents. They used the paddy wagon system. They lined Palestinians up and they arrested them. And I shared that experience when I came back to America. And overnight, I lost thousands of followers of people who said they supported me for Amazon, but this is where they draw the line. And to myself, I said, that's a familiar feeling,
How so?
When people saw me organizing against Amazon, which they deemed as unorganizable, they thought that it wasn't going to be successful. But how we were able to be a $2.2 trillion company was by bringing people together. And that's the same thing that's going to happen with this movement. Palestinian and the people of Gaza have shown the world what we have to do right now in these times. We have to come together as people.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think maybe I'll just go.
Well, I was gonna bring up this. This is a little out of order, Palantir, which who is it that got donations? I think it's one of our
Raja
Senate candidates.
Raja.
Yeah, Raja.
He's in the Democratic Party. I can't remember his last name. I'm so sorry, but yeah. He was actually grilled pretty hard on CNN about his taking donations, and it was really funny because the newscaster was saying, "So, are you going to send that money back?" And he wouldn't say yes.
So that means no. That more than likely means no. And Palantir helped murder multiple Lebanese children, terrorize the entire country of Lebanon, and carry out the war crime of perfidy. That's not sure what that is exactly, but we can look that up.
But we do know it's a terrorist attack. We don't have to look that up. Pretty obviously a terrorist attack. Is the government of Israel is a terrorist organization, and we supply them with intelligence through Palantir of that, So we fund that too, folks. We fund it.
It was the pager attack that killed a bunch of people.
Yep.
They blew up their pagers and killed people with them. Wow.
And what I wanted to add to the stage was when Chris Small was talking about it's uniting the people, and I just keep being reminded of, back in the 1930s when people organized and went to Spain to fight fascism. And it was the International Brigade, 1936 here. And actually, this little graphic is showing poets who actually died in the fighting. And it just reminds me, help me with the name, the president of Colombia, who called for this, and I haven't seen anything. I keep trying to find something about it. This is also what we need to do. We need to take action. We need to take action to invade Gaza, folks. We have to. Nothing else is going to do it. I mean, Yemen's the only one. Yemen's the only one that has been actively doing military fighting. So
yeah, because they've been found by the ICC and ICJ that they're committing a genocide. They've had people protesting around the world demanding it stop. You know, the UN is basically useless at this point.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to do anything. So, you know, at some point we have to just go in there and make them quit. So, you know, international force needs to go in there and make them stop what they're doing. It's illegal. There's like so much evidence that it's not debatable anymore. And I did kick somebody from the studio for using a very tired, very much disproved, very boring criticism of the Green Party. Just saying.
Well, it's just
At least be original, dude. Like, come on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see it, but it just does point to how propaganda works. I mean, you could I didn't see the specific complaint if you're saying it's one of those really pathetic ones. You know, I mean, we are a group of volunteers. I don't think of it as a political party, really. We got to follow the FEC rules as a political party, yeah. Mm-hmm. But we're just a bunch of volunteers trying to change America. And so in the process, it's a difficult road. It's a difficult road.
Yeah. And personal attacks are just silly because you never talk about the issues.
Right.
You know, we line this up every week.
Right.
Here are the issues. Here is how the Republicans and Democrats aren't changing anything about it. Actually, they're promoting it and they're getting rich off of it. And yet you know, people come in here and criticize us and, you know, why would you trust them to do anything?
I think the absolute best video covering this whole issue is go to the Breakfast Club. I hope they still have their videos and watch when Jill Stein and Butch Ware were on there. Mm-hmm. It's exactly what goes on. The folks who support the Democratic Party have no issues on which to argue or debate. So they try to pick up the most pathetic little insults that they can to go at Jill and Butch. And Jill and Butch just brought data. They brought facts. They brought, you know, the policies. Mm-hmm. And they were stuck because how are they going to, you know, it was about reparations. It was about Medicare for all. And they can't respond to it because they know that Jill and Butch are correct in this little debate they were trying to have. So they're stuck. So that's, go watch that, folks.
And here's why we do the work. The United States has a horrific record of death around the world.
Right.
And all it is doing is increasing. I mean, we're trying to attack Venezuela. You know, we're trying to, you know, attack China through Taiwan. We're attacking Russia with Ukraine. We're doing all these things, like, and all it is doing is causing death and destruction in the world. Anytime you go to war, it is a failure of diplomacy.
We just had sent missiles into Syria as supposedly a revenge for some of our military folks being killed there. I don't know the details, but first of all, what were the military folks doing there? Why? Why are we there? Second of all, I know that they said it was ISIL, you know, this spinoff of ISIS. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Syria is complicated, but it is a fact that the person that the CIA and Turkey and Israel installed to be the leader of Syria, and he was at the White House recently, is one of the original founders of ISIS and Al-Qaeda. I think he was both. There are pictures of him holding heads, folks. And there was $1 million bounty on him into the period where they anointed him as leader of Syria. And then they were like, oh shit, we got to get rid of that. So they rescinded the $1 million bounty on his head or whatever it was. I mean, and now they're bombing ISIS, even though that's the leader they just installed. So folks, we need to get out of this quagmire of crap.
Yeah. And do we really need 800 bases around the world? I mean,
no.
And
sending billions to Taiwan to try to stir up with China. I mean, it's just horrific.
Yeah. And Venezuela is about China too, because Venezuela is trading with China and American companies don't like it.
Right. And I saw a really good meme about how, you know, they grabbed one of the oil boats, right? And they just pirated it.
I think we have that in here. Yeah. Okay.
And it's like, and the quote was like, oh, so it's not about drugs, right?
No, never is. So the next one we had, I thought I put that in there, but the next one we had was Trump admitted the truth. He wants to take Venezuela oil, and this is a really good, compilation of how, like, the overview. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. This is Geopolitical Economy.
Timestamps.
Okay, let me know when you got it.
Can you give me the timestamps?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, I can. Oh, 00 to 344.
Thank you. Okay. I think I shared it.
Okay, yeah. There we go.
Out of oil there. As you know, they threw our companies out and we want it back.
There we go.
Donald Trump has openly admitted that he wants to take Venezuela's oil. And top officials in the Trump administration have also revealed that the reason that they're waging war against Venezuela is they want to take over its oil. Now, if you know anything about the long history of U.S. meddling in Venezuela and the U.S. government's many coup attempts in Venezuela, this will not come as a surprise to you. Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserves, and U.S. corporations have been desperate to get access to Venezuela's oil ever since back in 2007, when Venezuela's leftist former president Hugo Chavez kicked out U.S. oil corporations and fully nationalized Venezuela's oil industry.
Bingo.
This affected three major U.S. oil corporations, ConocoPhillips, Chevron, and ExxonMobil, along with some European oil corporations. And Venezuela said that if these companies wanted to have any business in Venezuela, they could only have a minority stake in joint ventures that would be majority owned by Venezuela's state oil company, PDVSA. So with this policy, the Venezuelan government was saying that the oil of Venezuela belongs to the people of the country, not to foreign corporations. However, according to Donald Trump, Venezuela's oil belongs to the United States. Trump was asked about this by a journalist who pointed out that Trump has declared a full-on naval blockade of Venezuela to try to prevent Venezuela from exporting its oil to China, to starve Venezuela of oil revenue to try to cause an economic crisis that leads to regime change. So this reporter directly asked Trump if the goal of the naval blockade is to bring about regime change in Venezuela. And Trump responded by saying that Venezuela's oil belongs to the U.S., that U.S. corporations want to get access to that oil, and they want to control Venezuela's land. Listen here to this clip. Unfortunately, the audio quality was very low because Trump was speaking right next to a plane that was very loud. But I added subtitles to Trump's very revealing admission here.
It's a blockade. Not going to let anybody going through that shouldn't be going through. You remember they took all of our energy rights. They took all of our oil from not that long ago, and we want it back. But they took it. They illegally took it. Getting land, oil rights, whatever we had, they took it away because we had a president that maybe wasn't watching. But they're not going to do that. We want it back. They took our oil rights. We had a lot of oil there. As you know, they threw our companies out, and we want it back.
Now, note how in that clip, Trump claimed that Venezuela took our energy rights and our oil, as if Venezuela's oil belongs to the U.S. It does not. It belongs to Venezuela. This is the whole issue itself. This is the summary of the problem that we're dealing with. This is blatant imperialism. This is colonialism. The U.S. says that foreign countries' natural resources belong to U.S. corporations.
Wow.
Yeah. And yeah, I wanted to add that, he does say U.S. companies. Okay, those are not U.S. companies. No, those are all international companies that we are doing the bidding of. And I also wanted to add that this woman that the Nobel Peace Prize has been given to, Mercado, that she just openly wants to do this, right? She just wants to take let the private companies in and grab all of Venezuela's oil.
Yeah.
And actually Julian Assange is actually suing. I don't know how this works, but it was a great story. Julian Assange is suing the Nobel organization for giving her the Peace Prize, which
good on him.
right. But yeah, I mean, she's obviously she wants the violent overthrow of her own country. I mean, she's a sellout. I saw somewhere that polls in Venezuela, she has a 91 or 95% disapproval rating. So everybody hates her. Everybody hates her in Venezuela.
Yeah, because they're trying to take something away from the people of Venezuela. And Venezuela didn't say you couldn't be here. They said you can't have majority stakes.
Right.
And if you're not cool with that, there's the door. You know, I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, people have this problem of not thinking about what it would be like to be there. And, you know, we're not going to get to this clip, but if you go watch Danny Haiphong talking to Greg Stoker, and I can't remember the woman's name, but just talking about the history of how we've sanctioned Venezuela. We've tried to coup them so many times. We're basically trying to strangle the country.
Right.
So those oil companies, I think they're U.S. based, but you know, they are international. Whatever. They have no allegiance to any country. They're just out to plunder and pillage and make money. You know, that's why we do it. So we can put a chokehold on these countries, and it'll destabilize the whole nation. Like I was watching earlier, Matt Ho was on Judging Freedom with Judge Napolitano talking about there is no best case scenario coming out of this unless we just stop what we're doing.
And the difference is not, you know, it is that a government is, if they're going to help their people, they control their natural resources. So that's the issue. It's not U.S. and Venezuela. It's is a government allowed to control its resources, or does some other more powerful country who is run by private companies determine what's going on? Because that oil, again, it's not coming for us. We are not getting that oil. When he says, you know, we're going to take that oil back. No, that's actually, he's just working for private companies, international companies. So that's the big issue there.
And it will it has the very real chance of destabilizing the entire South American region.
Yeah, but you know, they work
don't care
for
about
companies. They work for companies. They will do whatever the companies want.
Yeah. You know, they don't care about the people, not even a little bit. So I don't know. It's almost time. Did you want to play something?
No, I think we're good. I think that was
okay.
That was a good show. Yeah, no. I think and I just want to emphasize thanks to everyone for coming. And also please do like, comment, share. That helps a lot. And subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have already, thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, share it to some friends. Get the word out. I would like to end with the Snowball fight.
Oh gosh,
do that one.
And yeah, we heard that this isn't brand new, but I watch Facebook. I go to Facebook, and so maybe Facebook was a little slow on getting this one, but it's too classic. You know, we want to end with important news. So there was a snowball fight. Maybe it's not this winter, maybe it's last winter, but it was still a very important snowball fight. So let me see if I can.
Okay, and
I'm talking about it. I didn't even get it set up yet.
Oh, that's okay, because we kind of had we always put too much in the show, and we try to keep it at 90 minutes for you all. I mean, we had electronic intifada that we were going to play, and you know, there's a hunger strike going on for Gaza because the ceasefire was a distraction. I also wanted to say, because the next 2 Wednesdays are holidays, Christmas Day and New Year's Day, we won't have any guests. But Scott and I have agreed to come back and do News of the Week on Saturday as usual. And we're going to talk about maybe changing the time on Saturday to because once petitioning season starts, we're going to have to be the time of the day. We're not sure what we're going to do, but we will let you know. We will have a decision on that before the first of the year starts. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to say maybe like later in the day. It's probably early, evening or something, early evening, something like that.
Yeah.
So I think it is
It is ready.
Okay.
And y'all have happy holidays, and we'll see you soon.
And breaking news here, folks, if I can get it going.
I see some snow right here. Did you get hit in that spot? I hit my eye. Man, are you okay?
I'm okay. It like hurt, but I'm still okay.
I'm glad to hear that.
Oh, I got one more thing to say.
Yeah, one more thing to say.
Free Palestine.
Okay.
I got one more thing to say. Grabs it back. Yes.
How old is he? Maybe like 9 or 10. I got one more thing to say. Free Palestine.
And hey, that was a year ago. We heard from a source that was last winter. So good for him. He was on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. And happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everyone. Yes.
Thanks for being here. And we'll see you next Saturday. Yeah.
All right.
So
see
much.
ya. Yeah. No show Wednesday. You said that already. But yeah. All right.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
An uprising, we're rising up.
It's an uprising, we're rising up. It's an uprising.
Fight the power.
It's an uprising.
Fight the power.